Before we run this any further, let's get some coolant in here. Before we run this and get any air out of the coolant system, let's get the intake air box back in and strut support back on. We'll run these bolts back in, it'll hold it all together. Just make sure we got the top foot, bottom foot in before we install the top. We do. Hole in the bottom where this connector goes. Let's put him back. So we topped off the radiator, and then now the reservoir is half full. I'm going to turn the heater on all the way as soon as it's running and I know that it's okay, so that we can cycle the coolant and make sure that that's okay and we don't have any leaks or anything like that. So let's do that. Okay, extra coolant to pass it through. We got the air box on here. We'll measure where the voltage is in the battery. Right now the battery's showing 12.52. There's a slight load on it. The charger's on it right now. If we start the charger at a medium pace, starting to climb. 14.5 across the terminals from the charger. Charger shows like 6 amps drawn. Let's start this thing, see what happens. Make sure where our oil's at while it's cold, just to check. Haven't really run this engine in some time. plenty. All right, let's do this thing. Charger just turned up too. Okay. Charger showing over 15 volts across the terminal. Should have enough to start the car. Let's see how it sounds when we let it run for a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the heater on full blast so it cycles the coolant in there so we can see if we have an issue. The heater's on all the way. Let's see if we have any obvious leaks. All the coast connections that I had to mess with are good. All right, right now the only warning lights we're getting were change oil when the car first turned on. And now we're seeing trunk open. I have all the rest of the parts of the dash in the trunk. And the airbag alarm, because the airbag's in the trunk. I'm gonna let this run until it gets hot, and I'm gonna check my coolant levels. But I think we're good to drive this thing again. Let the heater do its thing. While we do that, I want to see if I can't get a reading on the electrical system while it's running. All right, so voltage. I just lost one. Measured voltage from the chassis to the positive terminal is 1452, 1453. Starting to get air bubbles. So we're starting to lose air out of the system, and then it'll be replaced with coolant. Car's been running for 25 minutes, and we're holding at 190 degrees. There's no leaks. in the coolant. So we'll take a little bit further. I'm going to turn off the heat. See if the temperature holds now that the heat's off. I'm thinking let's put the plastic dash on so we can mount the components of the dash. And probably attach a steering wheel. And then we'll take this down off the wheel dollies. See how it does driving down the road. So I was trying to figure out the front parking lights before I put anything else back together. The first set of tones is a cigarette lighter. Cigarette lighter might have been blown from, I don't know what, at some point. So I'm going to put a new fuse in there. We'll see if it blows from regular use. This other guy is the last remnant of electrical system not working properly. And this power probe set of tones means positive 14 volts and ground. So that means circuit should be being completed. That fuse was blown. So let's see if we put a new 15 in here that it blows right away or not. Nope. So now both sides of the fuse are reading 14 volts. And we got our parking lamps or parking marker running lights back in the front. I'm sure that fuse blew as the main wire harness got worse. I wanted to make sure that that was working before I put this back together, because I don't want to have to patch anything or replace anything. So that's very good to find. So good for me, the way body control works, it did not get damaged from the faults in the wiring harness. And then blew a bunch of fuses and melted the ground wire on the multifunction switch. But other than that, there's no damage that needs replacing. So at this point, the car's been running for an hour. It's still pretty calm. It's running well. Oil pressure, cooling levels, everything's good. So let's shut this off and put the plastic carrier on. I have a lot more confidence putting this together now that we've figured out why the front lamps weren't working.